Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the show that shares with you everything that you should do before saying I do. This is Before I Do right here on the Couples Academy channel. Whether you are single, dating, want to be married, don't know if you want to be married, trying to figure out exactly what is out here and how to navigate it, we are here to help you navigate dating and relationships.
That's right. And this show is meant to be interactive, so we expect to hear from you. We want your questions. We want your comments. We want to get in your business. Test this out and see that the fruit over here is good. Okay. As your Couples Academy practitioners, we are here to support and help you.
My name is Walter Jennings.
My name is Charmaine Jennings.
Go ahead.
All right. So we are going to do something a little different. Yes, I said it 3 times to make sure you didn't miss it. We're actually going to start with what we typically do on this show, which is called our Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace. At pretty much a marriage ceremony, that is a traditional statement that's made. And so we have what we call our Speak Now or Forever Hold, our Speak Now question of the night. And we're going to start with that question. And our first question of the night is, when going out for romantic dinner in early stages of dating. So in the early stages of dating, when you're going out on a romantic dinner, who should pay and why?
Tonight, we're talking about who should pay the bill. We know that finances has been a really big hot topic when it comes to dating and relationships. This whole idea of chivalry and going Dutch, and I'm looking for somebody to pay all my bills. I'm looking for somebody to pay all my bills, to be perfectly honest. So who should pay, who shouldn't pay, when should you ask someone to pay? So we're going to dive right into it. Next week is Valentine's Day. Yay. So if you have not figured that out yet as far as who's going to be funding your Valentine's Day and your evening, I don't really know what to tell you. But tonight, again, we're talking about who should pay the bill. We're talking about finances, romance, and dating. And so our Speak Now question of the night, when going out for a romantic dinner in the early stages of dating. So I want to make sure to pinpoint that.
Okay, yeah, that's
who
right.
should pay, why, and why. So do you want to start first? Because I know you have some thoughts about this.
I mean, I know you have some thoughts about this.
Yeah, you know.
Because I definitely messed this up in our relationship. But
not really. It was not you. Yeah, you just, you had some ways about just some thoughts. It wasn't wrong,
Okay, we're not gonna tell people our business just
No,
yet.
we can. I mean, but again, there's a difference between when you talk about dating and then being in a relationship. That's true. Why, again, with the question, we did want to specify again, these are the early stages of dating someone. So you're in the process of trying to figure out if you even want to be in a relationship with them. Okay. And so the question is, when you're in those early stages and you all go out to dinner, who should be footing the bill for that?
Wow. I am so old school because I would say the gentleman should foot the bill.
Okay.
In the early stages of dating. But I know I'm old school, and y'all like, Charmaine, you need to come up to 2023. So I will say, to be honest, I'm a little old school. So I would say the gentleman should foot the bill.
All right. Now the second half of that question is why? Why do you feel that way?
Well, I gauge a lot from that. One, it tells me, if the individual is a planner, are they, first of all, how do they treat themselves? So I'm watching how they treat themselves, in the sense that, how do they eat? What type of place do they want to go eat at? Are they somewhat generous with their finances? And so just how they lead. And I think it's an opportunity to observe how they lead in their finances. Are they frivolous? Do they just spend a bunch of money for no reason? Are they careful with how they spend their money? So for me, I don't want the person to feel like I'm diagnosing them on the date, but I will say you can learn a lot from that dating experience, how they handle, what is their relationship like with money, right? Are they just using this opportunity to kind of impress you? So I think the gentleman should pay, and it gives me a little insight about how he leads, how he treats himself. Is he kind to himself? Does he, so it just says a lot.
So I actually agree with you. And again, no, I actually
I
agree
gotta
with
ring
you.
the bell.
I actually agree with you. And part of the premise of it is, again, both of us, we came from homes where, again, with some of those traditional values, they were impressed upon us. And I did subscribe to that. I believe that, again, when I was dating someone and getting to know them, that I should pay the bill as a man. Part of that spoke to leadership, provision, covering. And so we could do a whole different show when it comes to, again, some of the things when you talk about manhood and being a husbandman and things of that nature that are part of the responsibility of that individual. And so dating, as you mentioned, allows us the opportunity to be able to showcase our ability to look out for, to be considerate of, and to take care of the individual that we're taking out. So those are the first stages of that. And again, part of the reason why we are having this conversation tonight is because we are in a day and age that type of thought process is actually being challenged. And a lot of that comes from some of the assumptions that are now being made when it comes to bills and finances, who should pay for what, and also how it can oftentimes be a detriment to women as they continue to pursue equality in the workplace and things of that nature. And so it's a really interesting topic. So as we mentioned, Valentine's Day is coming up next week. And so 42% of singles will be dining out to celebrate. And so for heterosexual couples that are going out, it is still expected that men will foot the bill. And it might sound like a good deal for women. Actually, they say that it's not, because chivalrous tradition, it actually leads to challenges for women in the workplace. So in a survey in love and finances, according to Forbes magazine, a whopping 78% of the respondents said that they think men should pay for a first date. And surprisingly, 85% of men agree with me when it comes to that men should do it. However, the challenge when it comes to that is that it feeds something called benevolent sexism. I'll say it again, benevolent sexism. Now, benevolent sexism is the notion that women should be adored and cherished, which they should, along with a patternistic notion that they need a man's protection. So in other words, I'm paying for the date because this is something that you can't do for yourself. It is my responsibility to come along and to protect you and to take care of you, because you don't necessarily have what it takes to take care of yourself. So it reinforces the stereotype that women are fragile and that they need a man's help. And so I can see you just fuming right just next to me. So
I mean, no, it don't make me, that doesn't move me at all, because I know that I can and I'm more than capable of. So, the implication of that, to me, it just doesn't move me, because okay, you can believe that if you like.
Yeah, but these are some of these are some of the implications when it comes to allowing a man to operate in that. What does it communicate, and why is the man doing it, and what are the unspoken expectations that may be tethered to that? And so one of the things that the article in Forbes magazine says is that when it comes to benevolent sexism, that it can impact women's career aspirations. So it can actually, women who believe that male romantic partners should be chivalrous protectors and providers are said to have lower career ambitions, and that those who don't. In fact, girls who think that this is actually this way actually have lower academic aspirations and academic performance. So among college-age women, those that endorse chivalrous behavior show less interest in achieving financial independence. And so apparently their career ambition is replaced with the desire to find a good protector and a provider rather than strengthening and advocating for themselves.
I mean, that aligns with history and the past, where you had a lot of especially wealthy families who would send their daughters off to college, not necessarily to get a degree, but to find a husband, and not just a husband, but a good husband, like a doctor or a lawyer or someone who definitely was going to be in that higher tax bracket range. And I think things have since changed, because studies show that women are more educated than men now, more than ever in our history. And so women definitely have a lot of career pursuits, aspirations, and that's one of the reasons why it's changing the trajectory of our relationships. But I do believe that women, and I absolutely agree with the article, that women who tend to focus more on that independence, that growth, and those career aspirations, yeah, they tend to push hard their
Mm-hmm.
career, and they tend to find a lot of enjoyment in things, beyond just their relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And so, um, not only does it really impact their aspirations, performance is an issue as well. And so, um, in one experiment, participants were asked to complete a puzzle, and those who heard benevolent sexist comments prior to completing the puzzle performed worse than those who didn't hear the comments at all. And the experimenters concluded that the comments made to the women, who made the women feel less competent, and that's why their performance decreased.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important, the things that you hear, right? The things that you hear, the things that you align your beliefs with. And it's interesting that the power of words can really shift the dynamics of what you think about yourself. So we have to make sure that we're reducing, that we're making sure that we're protecting our ears, protecting our environments, who we allow to speak into our lives,
Mm-hmm.
making sure we don't adopt a pretty much a negative belief system.
Mm-hmm.
And but as a result of that study, it reduces the drive to fight for equality. So it pretty
Mm-hmm.
much, it I don't know, it kind of it I don't know, it weakens an individual, their belief system. And so it's important to make sure you guard yourself from the things that you hear, and making sure if you do hear them that you don't allow it to take root
Mm-hmm.
and grow.
Absolutely. And so the last one, it says that it impacts women's feedback at work. So one of the problems that it creates is that if a male manager thinks that a female employee is a delicate flower, and I am doing the quotes, that they need to be protected, that they may go easy on her. And study shows that women do not get critical feedback at work that is essential for their career success. And so it prevents them from securing those tough assignments, which are essential to getting promotion. So the whole idea of getting the feedback and positioning themselves for the positions and the titles that will allow them to achieve equity. So again, I know you're like, wow, how did all this come from the whole idea of who's paying the bill? But these types of thoughts are what is leading into this dynamic when it comes to the financial philosophy within dating and relationships. And all of this extends back to the why. Why are we splitting up the bills the way that we're splitting them up? Do we have unspoken expectations that we are putting on one another? And how are those things potentially tied to patriarchy and misogyny and different expectations that we're potentially setting our partner up for? So really important discussion.
I mean, I would definitely say this. You know, if a gentleman asked me out on a date, which some people would say, why does a gentleman have to ask you out on a date? Well, if you want to go out on a date with me, I expect you to ask,
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, what if you want to go out on a date with someone else? Okay, I have my process. And so I will admit, I'm not going to ask a guy, because the bottom line is I just have my process, and that's not it.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect leadership. And so I give people the opportunity to exercise that. And if they don't feel the need to do that, then, it, it's probably not going to work out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because I look for leadership, and I look for that assertiveness in that area. But yeah, when it comes to like paying the bill, I think it's one of those things where it's just giving a person an opportunity to lead.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't have a problem paying the bill either, but I will say this. We are definitely living in a time where it is almost, I feel like the roles have changed.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of moms who are training up their young boys to be men. And we have to just we have to make sure that we are definitely providing opportunities for that leadership on all sides. If you grew up with a female, a grandmother, a mom, an aunt who really supported you and really took care of you growing up, that's great. You had strong, that strong framework and that support. When you go in a relationship, we have to make sure that, though, are you ready for that leadership?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to be assertive? Were you trained up to be someone's boyfriend, someone's husband? Because there seems to be this air that, no, I don't have to lead, but I expect her to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to pay, but I expect her to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't have to go get a job, but I'm living off of her and expect
Mm-hmm.
her to.
Mm-hmm.
So with the success that women have experienced, it's just really, it just really interests me as to how the dynamics have changed, that it seems like the expectations are higher for women
Mm-hmm.
than men.
Yeah, part of the challenge with that is that the dynamic between men and women, and when you look at women's fight for equity in the workplace and in society as a whole, there seems to be this dominating fear from men that women are somehow in competition with them for that leadership. And it's not a competition against another gender. What it is it's a fostering of that independence and really allowing and supporting women in growing in their autonomy. That's what it essentially is about. And Charmaine, you mentioned when it comes to rearing our children, and we were fortunate to have two girls. We, in our process, was rearing our daughters to be able to advocate and to be independent and to take care of themselves, not to look for someone to take care of them, but for them to always be in a position to take care of themselves. Yeah.
Say that again.
Not for them to look for someone to take care of them, but for them to be in a position to where they could advocate and take care of themselves. Absolutely. So this is not about our daughters competing against men. This is not about our daughters as a threat to the mantle of the head of the household and things of that nature. That is not what it's about. What it's about is fostering, again, the individual purpose of every person to achieve and to maximize their life and the abilities and the skills and the purpose that they have. So we really have to stay focused on that. And unfortunately, finances is a big part of that conversation. And Absolutely. As you mentioned, Charmaine, one of the things that you keep saying, which I think is really important, you keep talking about leadership. So when we talk about finances and money, then that is a really big part of leadership, and our relationship with money actually speaks to that. So we started out talking about dating. Now we're getting into, let's move more into the relationship aspect. So speak now question number 1 was, in the early stages of dating, who should pay for the date and why? Now, as we move into the relationship portion, and there are other bills and there are other things that you all decide that you all want to do together, what is your philosophy regarding splitting bills? So not just dinner, but living expenses. If you all want to go on a trip, do different activities together, and you are in a relationship, who should pay for what and why?
This is a big question. I mean, when we counsel couples, especially couples who have not gone down that aisle yet to say I do, they're in the courting process, they're dating, they're engaged, they're not there yet. When we go through our financial module, we're talking about finances and who should pay what. It is very interesting, the things that we hear. Most of the time, it's 50-50.
Yeah. And what we want to do is we want to take a quick pause and allow you all to ponder on that question. Be sure to put your comments and answers in the chat. Once again, our Speak Now question of the night, number 2, what is your philosophy regarding splitting bills? We're talking about not just dinner, living expenses, trips in the relationship. Who should pay for what and why? We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with more Before I Do, as we talk about tonight, who pays the bill right here.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Everybody, welcome back to Before I Do. Tonight, we're talking about who pays the bill, romance and finance in relationships. And our Speak Now question of the night, number 2, is, sorry, my slides got switched around. They are all over the place.
What is your philosophy about who should pay what bill?
There it is.
All right, about splitting bills. That includes dinner, living expenses, trips, etc. Who should pay the bills, right, in the relationship? And so who should pay what and why?
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Charmaine, I agree that as it relates to, this is a very important question, and it provides an opportunity for both partners to recognize the areas of their strong suits and their challenges. And so utilizing this as a litmus test for planning to do different activities together allows you to be able to see a person's philosophy. One of the things that I learned about myself is that I'm emotional when it comes to money. And I did not know that until we started doing certain projects and various things together. And so it's important to make sure that you're leaning towards your partner's strong suit. So if for example, for me, I am the organized one in the relationship. Now, I may spend all the money, but I can tell you exactly where every penny went. So I can tell you where every penny went.
Ladies and gentlemen.
It's not, but at least I can tell you that, hey, I can tell you, my accounting system, and as far as having everything documented, I got you. But it's just the keeping it from going somewhere is the problem. I can tell you where it went though.
And that's a very, very good question, because it's not just a matter of, we're going to split everything down the middle, 50-50.
Right.
We're hearing that more and more, especially for young couples, 20s and 30s. We're hearing that split the bills. We split everything 50-50. And it doesn't matter if you're making 6 figures and I'm only bringing home 50K. You still want to split everything 50-50 because that's fair. Fair is equal. And is it?
The question is it prudent? Is it smart? Because again, if you're not living in the same household, even if you're just in a relationship, do you really want your partner to have that type of pressure on them when they don't necessarily have the financial latitude to be able to come under and take care of a responsibility like that? Now, I know there's somebody out there that's saying, well, this is something she wanted to do, or this is something he wants to do. Absolutely. We completely understand that.
Every relationship is different.
Yes, and we completely understand that. But then therein lies the need for a conversation first before you then delve into a project or something of that, and that person may not necessarily have the financial means to be able to do what it is that they say that they want to do.
The bottom line is life issues happen. What happens if you get furloughed from a job? You still want 50-50 at the end of the month. You still are going to hold your partner to that expectation. What happens if a health crisis comes up and I'm not bringing any income in right now because I haven't worked for the past 2 weeks? Where's there room for that grace in those moments? And so if everything in your relationship is 50-50, it's like, you just have to be very careful about that. Now, if it works for your relationship, it works. But we just noticed that sometimes that could be, that's what we're hearing a lot. We split everything down the middle. It's like, nope, I give this and you give that. And so sometimes that can be really challenging, that philosophy, because it doesn't always transfer well. But I will go back to what you said. What is smart? What is working smart? To be honest, I was a saver. Walter said that he was an emotional spender. So if it's Friday, he had a hard work week. It's like, no, I deserve to treat myself. He was probably the king of treat yourself before that came out. So, but I would have the money, and Walter's like, why are these bills late? And the money's sitting right here in the bank account. Because and so I'm like, oh man, I forgot to pay.
See, well, wait. Now, hold on. Wait. Which is worse then? That should be another Speak Now question. Which is worse, having the money and not paying your bills, or just spending your money on something else?
Both are equally worse.
All right then. Let me ring the bell on that. Let me make sure.
Because the $7,500 you done spent on your splurging is probably the late fees that I got because I had the money and didn't spend it.
Absolutely.
So equally, our relationship with money coming into this marriage in our early 20s, we needed some work, y'all.
Yeah, but we learned again. What we learned through that process again was how we saw and what our relationship with money was like. And also it allowed us to divide our financial obligations in a way that made sense.
It really did.
and was going to be prudent for us individually and collectively.
Yeah.
In other words, we didn't allow these pressures from society to determine, well, you the woman, you supposed to pay, or I'm the man and I'm supposed to pay. No, the system that we set in place was going to be conducive for our relationship so that we could live the life that we want to live.
It's a strength-based model. And when we counsel our clients, that's the first thing that we really do, a strength finder assessment. We want to know what's your strength. Walter definitely, he is time efficient. All of our bills are going to be paid on time. And then a strategic priority with Walter running the show in that area. Now, when it comes to me, and we have to plan for a vacation that's 6 months out, or we have to plan for something that's long-term, that's me all day. I will save it. I will hold it. I will not spend it. And so we learn through our strengths that, wow, we're going to go to on this vacation a year from now, Charmaine is going to ensure that it gets paid. Walter's going to ensure that the bills that are due next week and next month get paid.
Absolutely. So what we like to say is that I am the now, Charmaine is the later.
I do think
so. I am the present, and Charmaine is focused on the future. And since we've done that, we've been able to really do a lot more and to really accomplish a lot more and enjoy life in a more fulfilling way. So what we want to do is we want to go into a few do's and don'ts when it comes to navigating and discussing finances within your relationship. So you may want to take note of these. All right. So first one, do talk about who will pay for what. So we've been talking about this with our Speak Now question. It's very important that you all start with the small items as it relates to who's going to pay for what. You want to work out an arrangement and you want to start with dates. So you want to start having that conversation early when it comes to, are we going to go half and half on this? Are you paying for this? Am I going to pay for this? Don't make assumptions. Do not have those unspoken expectations, but you want to make sure that you're clear on exactly who is going to be paying for what at the beginning of the relationship and the dating process.
Absolutely don't. All right, I have the don't. Don't become financially intrusive too soon. You want to get all up in the business, and this person you don't even know their middle name and what city they were born in. So when you're trying to woo someone, we all want to show our best side. We want to keep our baggage out of sight. And while you might be curious about their credit score or their student debt load, they might really kind of give you the side eye. You ask them questions, do you have student loan debt, or, do you have good credit? So if it's something that, you wouldn't really ask a friend, you might want to hold off on poking around and in their money or their financial history too soon, too fast, too soon. You want to get to know their financial situation by hopefully, first of all, observing what you see, but allowing yourself to get to know their family gradually. And when the time is right, timing is everything.
Absolutely. So do start discussing your shared values. Shared values are an important part of your finances, and staying together is communicating and making sure that you're honoring those values. So while your partner may prefer to shop at high-end market and you may like a discounted grocery store, you both may value healthy living and nutritious meals. So how can you meet in the middle when it comes to spending and eating well? And Charmaine and I, we actually have had a situation, have come through a situation where when it comes to fruit, when it comes to fresh vegetables, I am definitely the economic one. Charmaine is the quality. You can't get fruit and vegetables from everywhere. And it's so telling because one time I was like, I'm going anywhere, it's not going to matter. And I brought food. She was like, where'd you get this from? And she could tell by the quality of it. And so eventually I was able to understand that, no, there is a difference. Like we may pay a little more, but we are paying for a quality that is ultimately better for us. So when it comes to your shared values, figuring out exactly where your values align and allowing yourself again to have conversations about what's going to be negotiable when it comes to where can we get the best high quality fruits and vegetables for a good economic price.
Yes.
What are some of the things where we can make a little concession when it comes to some of our date nights, some things that we can do on a more economic basis? And what are some of the things that we're not going to compromise on? When it comes to Charmaine and I, for example, we do not compromise on the quality of our food.
Yeah,
That's a non-negotiable for us.
And I will tell you why, because for us, even when we're counseling our clients, we don't impose our own views on them, but we really encourage them. Sometimes we'll have a young couple and they're like, oh, they're struggling with to have health insurance or something like that. And we tell them, okay, well, the least you can do is everything that you put in your mouth and that you take out of your mouth is a matter of life and death. So you want to make sure that you are consuming quality food, because if you don't have health insurance, the least you can do is what you put in your food is going to get good results.
Absolutely. And shared values ultimately lead to shared dreams. So as you're having these conversations about shared values, they should ultimately lead to you all having conversations about your shared dreams and visions for the future.
All right. And our next one is a don't. Don't ignore what you hear and what you see. Man, don't ignore what you hear and what you see. So in the early stages of the relationship, we keep saying that the early stages of the relationship, you can learn plenty about the other your other half's financial life without asking nosy questions. I mean, you can observe their lifestyle preferences. Are they bougie, pretty much frugal, or somewhere in between? Do they openly talk about their dish, or are they more closeted about their money situation? What's their idea of a fun date? You know, how do they like to spend their free time and discretionary funds? This will definitely clue you in on what's important to them and how best to breach future money topics. And so this helps you to pretty much have a great opportunity to see really who they are and what their relationship is like with money.
Absolutely. All right. So the next do is slowly get more financially intimate and literate. Ring the bell for me on that one, please. So as you all are getting to know one another, it is going to be important for you to get to know your partner's financial philosophy. And that does involve intimacy and determining how money is spent, where their money is going. Maybe one of you values video games. Maybe one of you values shopping and fashion. And so you'll want to make sure that you have conversations about, again, where your priorities are when it comes to your finances. You want to get financially naked, vulnerable. You want to, financially, ring the bell for that, financially naked. So yeah, you want to get financially naked because it's important, again, to be able to be transparent as it relates to where your finances are going. Now, you'll also want to make sure that you're sharing numbers. Talk about things like how much debt you're in. What's your net worth? Do you have any assets? What are your liabilities? How much do you earn?
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, we got to get in it if we're going to be in a relationship.
There is nothing sexy about this conversation at all.
No, but it's real and it's important. And remember, finances are the top 1 or 2 reasons why people divorce in marriage. So it's better to train yourself to begin to have these courageous conversations as early as you can in the relationship. And also, too, it's a telltale sign if you are in a relationship with someone and as you all are growing, if they seem to be very secretive when it comes to their finances, that is a red flag that they may have some behaviors and some tendencies and some challenges when it comes to money that you may need to make sure you're attuned to.
Absolutely. All right. And our last one, don't impose your money ways on the other person. So again, sometimes, we it's not fun if the homies can't have none,
I don't think that's what they were talking about when they.
I mean, okay.
I don't think that's what they were talking about when they saying that.
I know, but you don't impose your money ways on other people. It says so. There's no one method of money management that is right for everyone. Oh my gosh, that is one of the restorative belief practices. The number one is right, wrong thinking. So really, to say this is the only right way to handle our finances, right? When there's multiple right ways to handle our finances. So while you might feel like you solved the riddle and you solved the whole financial wholeness piece, and it's important to let your partner in on the solutions when it comes to the finances. For example, Some people don't believe in using credit cards, or they
Mhm.
prefer to buy everything outright. We're going to save, we're going to pay for it cash. Other people know how credit cards work, and they say, no, you never pay your bills in cash. You pay them on a credit card, and then you pay your credit cards down. That's how you jack your credit score up. It's strategic, it's strategy. People have been using this system for years. They never pay their water bill in cash because that doesn't benefit you on our economic system in the United States. So these differences become an opportunity for both parties to discuss and learn from one another. And it is the quality of the outcome that highlights the strategy of the process. So really, it's about processes. In a relationship, you are going to learn what your process is. You come into the relationship with your financial history, your financial process. When you are in a relationship, you begin to learn what process is going to work for us collectively. And so, but through the earlier stages in dating, man, again, I guess I still believe that I love to see the leadership in our men, and I love to see them really showcase what their vision is,
Mhm.
how they interact with money, how they treat themselves when it comes to the money and when it comes to dating. And so that just says a lot.
Absolutely. And it's important for both individuals in the relationship to always be to pursue financial literacy. So both individuals, your financial institution offers financial literacy courses that are usually free. They're done on a quarterly basis. And so making sure that you are looking into them, and both of you should be constantly making sure that you're educating yourself when it comes to various tax laws, when it comes to things like cryptocurrency. All of those various things are really important for us to understand, always expanding our knowledge when it comes to finances.
Yeah, we usually have an assignment for our couples to really research their banking institution to see what free courses they offer. And they're always surprised. They're always surprised. Oh my gosh, look at this whole course catalog that has been available to me this entire time, and I didn't even know it. So we always have them do a field trip, and they audit their banking institution, and they are surprised by the wealth of resources that are made available to them. And I have to say this before the show is, we have romance and finance as a topic of this show. And there is this old school statement. I know y'all definitely heard some of our colloquialisms tonight, because my husband didn't say naked, he said naked. So that just blew my whole world right now. Your West Tampa came
you gotta
out.
be financially naked.
And I said, ain't no fun unless the homeless can have some.
Yeah, that was concerning.
Okay, so this statement, and we could shut the show down after that, but it's like there's no romance without finance. No, romance without finance is a new set.
There you go. Ring the bell for that. Yeah, you got to ring the bell after that. Yeah.
And while it can hinder romance, it doesn't mean that you have to have a lot of money to have romance. I can remember some of our most romantic dates and evenings were in college. We ain't had no money. But for us, we didn't have an abundance of money. We were college students, right? But for us, it was the simple things. And so for us, it's interesting because the common denominator was always food.
I told you, yeah. Again, food was shared value between us. And it's always been a consistent that for us, it was, as long as we have enough money, we would go to the grocery store. This was back in the 90s. And so you could get some crab legs and, get them steamed for $7 a pound or what have you. And, that was our Friday night. Go to Blockbuster. I know we're dating ourselves. But the point is, again, when it came to our shared values, they helped to align our financial philosophies. They helped us to make sure that we were on the same page when it came to our dating and in our relationship. And they have led to, even in our marriage, us having the trust of one another, that she's going to do her part. She's going to stay on her responsibilities financially and allow me to hold her accountable for that. And I know my job, and I'm going to stay on mine, and she's going to hold me accountable for that. But those gender roles, those unspoken expectations, those societal norms that we oftentimes impose upon couples and relationships, those things you have to put to the wayside in order for you to really maximize your relationship.
And it's not a flawless process.
No,
I have
it's
messed
a work in
up.
progress.
Yeah, I have messed up and said, "Oh, we're gonna save this money," and then I come home from the grocery store. He's like, "What happened?" And it's like I just completely blew the budget, right? Or there's times where he was supposed to do something and he didn't do it, because he being so generous, he giving our money away, and I'm like, "What is wrong with you?"
Yep.
Well, the dude over here, he did. If you don't keep your wallet closed.
Yep.
So we both have definitely had to hold each other accountable. We both have been upset with each other about finances. It literally is, what is your relationship with money, and what is going to be our collective relationship with money? It is unique. It is something that you have to build, but you can have the skills. Your banking institution has tons of resources. And so allow us to help support you and guide and help you navigate that process. You can go and travel and do some amazing things with your money. And it doesn't have to hinder the finances.
Everybody, thank y'all so much for tuning into Before I Do tonight. Hopefully you all got something out of this show. I know that I certainly did. And it was good to kind of go down memory lane and really reflect on how far we've been able to come when it comes to our finances.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful for your trust and your partnership and your patience with me in the process. So be sure to reach out to us at couplesacademy.org. Book us for a session.
Yes.
We are your Couples Academy practitioners, and it is our job and responsibility and honor to help you walk through both your individual and collective relationships. All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Before I Do. We'll see y'all next week right here, same day and time. Night, everybody.